You're going to change completely when you start to do these things. Like, I cannot even believe that I'm the same person sitting here that I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I just used to waste my time doing nothing, being a lazy person. Take it from someone who used to do this stuff and has completely changed their mindset, their personality. I think that this will work for you, because it worked for me. Welcome to Waves Unleashed, and I'm about to unleash some waves on you. Okay, this video is for anyone who wants to know how I changed my personality from lazy. I used to be lazy, and when I tell you this, you're probably gonna look at me and just think, what do you actually mean by lazy? Like, you're probably just saying lazy in the sense of just like, you know, for effect. But no, I actually used to be lazy. I used to just like spend time, waste time with people doing nothing. Literally, I would stay up until like 5 a.m. with some of my friends, and we would literally just sit there. Now, I don't waste my time. I believe in myself. I set after my goals. I do give myself time to chill these days. I don't push myself to a sense of burnout, but I think the mindset that I have now is that I'd rather not be chilling so much, because in the time that I'm chilling, I'm thinking about all the things that I could be doing for myself. So, you know, you want to have a good balance there. You don't want to push it too far, but you definitely want to adapt this mindset. This mindset completely changed myself as a person. This video is going to tell you exactly how to do that. The first thing that I did to completely change my personality, I needed to stop the habits that were keeping me stuck. Now, if you want to become a different person, it's only right that you're going to start to act like a different person. And with this person that you want to be, this dream person, and I say this, but it's actually very attainable, but this is just right now a separate version of you. With this person, would they do these things? And if you really get down to asking yourself, you know, when I used to just chill and we would just sit there and do nothing, and listen, it's fine to an extent, but I'm not doing anything and then now I'm just chilling. It's like, it's not really a reward anymore. It's just a sense of being lazy and procrastinating and thinking that that's the way that I can spend my time. That's leisure, but realistically it's not actually leisure, it's wasting time. Because now, in the time that you're doing that, you could have been focusing on other things. You could have been getting more serious, and when you get more serious, you respect yourself more, and when you respect yourself more, you're more consistent. So firstly, you need to stop these habits. So one of the things that I started to do was I stopped doing some of the habits that I would do. Like, me and my friends, we used to sit around, you know, you might go out with your friends, you might go drinking, you might go partying if you're with your certain friends, and or you know, even just by yourself, and you're doing things that you know are not good for your health. You need to stop doing it. You need to stop taking part in it, and now you can shift towards becoming the person that you want to be. So firstly, look at the things that you're doing in your life. Is there anything that you're doing right now that you can just kind of look at and be like, okay, I know that's not the best for me. I know I go out too much and I could be doing other things. I know I see my friends a lot during the week and I don't really prioritize, you know, my goals. I know that I don't really, you know, take care of my body. I just eat a lot of junk food. Now, if you really want to become this person, then you need to start to act like them, and you need to look at what your habits are. What habits in your day-to-day life are you doing that is not in line with the best version of you? So firstly, look at that. That's the first step, is to start to cut out these habits. The thing is, I would definitely say that some people say that you should just slowly cut it out, and if that works for you, that's great. But I would say that sometimes you just need to cut it out altogether. You just need to completely remove it from your life, because once you start to, you know, separate it from your mind, there's things I used to do all the time, every single night, and I look back and I'm like, I would never do that now. I would never do that to my body now, because I take care of my body. I used to do things that were not in line with the higher version of the person that I want to be, and the person that I have ultimately become. It's no longer a separate thing. It's no longer a thing in my mind where I look at it and I'm like, oh, I can't wait until I become that. Oh, I'm gonna start acting like that. I am her now. I am her. I've embodied this. But first, it's gonna feel a bit uncomfortable at first. At first, you're gonna look at it and you're gonna be like, this doesn't really feel right. Like, the old habits will start to creep back up on you. Your friends might invite you out and you're gonna want to go. And listen, there's nothing wrong with going out sometimes, but if you're doing it all the time, or you're just wasting your time, you know, you're with people where you're just procrastinating, then you need to really limit that. You need to limit it and slowly break away from the habit of the way that you're living your life and the way that you could be living your life. You know that that's not going to help you, but you're doing it. So you need to really look at, what behaviors am I doing that is ultimately making me a less productive person, a less happy person? The more productive you are, the more consistent you are. The more consistent you are, the more pride you have. And the more pride you have, the more happier you are. Pride is so ultimately linked towards happiness, because you feel a sense of accomplishment. So if you want to feel accomplished, you need to look at what you're doing in your life and your day-to-day habits that are not in line with the best version of you. So really look at your habits. It took me a long time to really come out of the journey of the things that I was doing. I was doing a lot of things that were bad for my body, bad for my health, bad for my mindset, staying up really late with friends and just doing nothing. How is that helping me in any way get to where I want to be? It's not doing anything for me. But at the time, I thought that that was the best way to take care of myself, and I needed to learn it. You need to go through these things. A lot of the time, your friends will make you feel like it's normal, it's okay to do these things. But if you really want to become the best version of yourself, you need to really look at your habits and say, is this really what the best version of me would be doing right now? And if it isn't, then don't do it. Slowly start to step away. So that's rule number 1. Number 2 is to focus on creating a positive relationship with planning. Now, when I speak about planning, when I was at university, so I got very sick. I remember I had to retake some exams, and because I had all these exams to catch up on, because I nearly dropped out of uni, I was really looking at how I could plan out getting everything done. I remember I had 21 days to get all these exams done and, you know, write all these assignments. And I created a relationship with planning. I realized how much I got done in that time based on how I planned things out. And I really think that this shifted my mindset and changed the way that I looked at my goals. I didn't think of it as something that's just in my head. It's also great to have a plan on your wall. It's great to have, you know, notebooks where you keep track of things. The more ways that you keep track of your plans and you make it something that's kind of creative in a way, like you can actually enjoy to do it. So now you can color code it. You can look at Pinterest for inspiration. You can look at YouTube on like other content creators, what they're doing and how they are setting up their day. If you start to romanticize it and make it like something that you're really looking forward to do, when you make a nice fresh plan and you actually enjoy the idea of really embodying this vision of this person that is actually going to carry out all these goals and be consistent with it, it can become very exciting. So you need to tap into a mindset of not shying away from goals and making plans and being consistent with it. You need to look at it as something like, wow, like I could really do this. One thing to do is don't pile everything on at once. Try to build up a nice momentum with it where you're writing down, you know, sustainable, tangible goals. I have spoke about that in my last video if you want to check that out, about how I stay disciplined and how I don't, you know, pile too much on at once, but I also get myself out of a rut. If you want to understand a bit more about that, then watch that video. But I would definitely say stay consistent with a plan that is easy to follow. It challenges you in a way, but it's not too hard to the point where you can't keep track of it, you can't stick to it. So you want to have a good plan and you want to create a really positive relationship. When I started to fall in love with planning in 2021, that's when I started really making plans, and I would literally put them on my wall, and like every week I would like tick off the things that I do, and I just really created such a great relationship with the idea of just being consistent and looking back at my goals and seeing what I did wrong. You know, it's a trial and error process, but the more you do it, the more good you're going to feel. So create a weekly plan, come back and see how you will change as a person. You need to stay consistent with it. If you fall off, don't beat yourself up. Don't say to yourself, oh, why did I not do this? Oh, I'm so terrible. Oh, I'm not consistent. Just say, okay, what can I do differently? Maybe I put too many goals on this. Maybe I need to change the way that I'm structuring my plans. So now when you're creating a plan, color code it, make it really efficient, make it something that you want to look at on your wall, and then make it a thing that you look forward to doing. Even like with your routines, for example, you could structure things out in a way where it's actually interesting for you to want to do it. So for example, I have to do this vocal therapy because I'm a singer at the moment, and I put it off for weeks. I put it off for so long. The woman that sent me all the exercises, I literally saw her email and I was like, I haven't even started, and she's asking me how it's going. And then I realized that I just needed to implement something that I like along with it. So what I do now is I do like a lymphatic drainage massage on my face, and then straight after doing that, I then do the vocal exercises, which is around here where I'm having the issues. So by doing both of those things at the same time, I'm incorporating something I really like, which is the drainage massage, because it feels so nice. But then I'm doing something that, you know, I didn't really want to do. So try and pair things together. Like you could be like, if I read, then I can watch my show, you know, something like that where you're pairing goals together. So I definitely say change your relationship with goals and planning, because this will change your mindset and make you so much more of a productive person. It's unbelievable how much this changed me. The next thing to do is to cut off people that are not in line with the idea of who you want to be. Now, when I say this, I mean the person that you want to become. Do these people follow the same values? Do they have the same perception of life? Do they have the same route of where they want to take their life? If not, then you really need to look at it. Now, these people can still be good friends, so you really need to look at how much are they giving to you. If they're giving you a lot but they have a different view of life, then that's fine, as long as it's not affecting your view of life. But if they're giving you nothing, or they're even taking from you, they're taking energy, then you need to really look at, is it really worth it? And a lot of the time you'll have friends as well where they might even think of life in a completely different way to you. I had a lot of people around me that would say things like, well, you know, I'm happy with living a nice, quiet life. And I think that if you're happy with that, that's absolutely great. That's amazing. I have no judgment there. But if I want to be someone who's successful, then I need to be around people that don't just, you know, they're happy with living a quiet life, because then they can afford to make those sacrifices to chill and do nothing. But if you want to be someone who's really successful and really work hard and have a high work ethic, then you can't be around people that have that view if it is going to affect you. If it's not going to affect you, that's fine, but they need to be adding something to your life. So I think in that case, I had to cut some people off. I had to really look at my friendships and my relationships and think, are these people really in line with the best version of me? me? Do they share my values? If they're doing things that you don't want to be doing. So in the first step, I spoke about, stopping the habits. Now, if these people are still taking part in these habits, is it really in line with how you want to be as a person? So, some of these friends will still even take part in these habits. And it's like, if you can't even hang out with someone without doing a certain thing with them, for example, drinking. If I can't even hang out with you without drinking, then are you really my friend? If I can't hang out with you without doing something that is going to negatively impact on me just to save our friendship, is that really a real friend? If it's just a friend where you're just doing stuff and you're literally wasting your time, then you need to look at if your goals are in line. If your goals aren't in line, then there's no point. You can still have love for these people. I'm not saying cut these people off and just hate them, but sometimes it's just you're going in different directions. You just have different paths that you're going down right now. Now, that's not to say that things can't change. One thing I will say is don't get cocky about this and start looking at these people as if they're less than you, because no one is less than you. No one is less than you because of the way that they choose to live their life. They're just not on the same path as you. That's a different story. If I want to get somewhere, but the habits that someone else is taking part in is not in line with where I want to go, that's fine, but that's in line with where they want to go. If you act like someone who doesn't want the same things as you and you do the same things as them, then you're not going to get to where you want to be, because you are the company you keep. You are the friends that you hang out with. Okay, this leads on to my next point. Do you want to be doing the same stuff in 5 years? If you don't, then you need to start working now. 1 year will go by, the next year will go by, the next year will go by, and then all of a sudden it's 5 years and you haven't made any steps towards change. You need to start making the change now. Change takes time. Everyone says this, change takes time, and it's very true. It took me a long time to change completely as a person. I am not the same as I was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, even 2020. I'm a completely different person. I've changed my whole mindset. My habits are different. My friends are different. The way I see life is different. I'm wiser, but I'm also more compassionate towards myself. I'm much more of a productive person. Everything about me has changed. And this has happened because I changed the way that I see life. And I don't look at it as something that someone's coming to save me. No one's coming to save me. The only person that can save me is me. And the only person that can work towards my goals is me. So if you start to change your mindset about the fact that if you really believe that your life could be different in 5 years, then you need to start working now. And you need to look at your goals as something that's non-negotiable. So that leads me on to the next point, which is to recognize when you're being lazy. So when you're being lazy, when you're doing these things that you're like, okay, I'm being lazy right now, you need to not allow yourself to give yourself a reason as to why it's okay that you're being lazy. Like, for example, there are times when I don't do things that I said I would do. Even take today. I did not want to film this video today. I was not in, the best mood. I'd lost my glasses. I was looking for my glasses for ages. That's a whole different story. I was actually looking around my room for my glasses for so long. And then it got to a point where I was just like, oh, time's gone by and now I don't want to film it. Now I could be like, oh, it's fine. You're not very well at the moment. You could always do it another day. We said we'd do another video on Thursday, so just make that the video day. But then I said to myself, no. You're making excuses. You're making excuses. Now I'm sitting down and it's absolutely fine. I'm doing the video, but this is how it goes. Even with, staying consistent, applying to jobs, or doing your uni work, whatever it is, if you want to stay consistent, then you need to think of it as non-negotiable. And you need to actually look at when you're being lazy, and you need to be real with yourself and stop coddling yourself. Still be compassionate. Don't completely burn yourself out. That's not the mentality I'm talking about. If you can recognize that you're being lazy and then you can do something about it, that's great. Everyone gets lazy from time to time. Everyone might even procrastinate for an hour. But after that hour of procrastinating, if you can now look at, okay, what can I do now? And then you go and jump into your goals and do something else, then that's amazing. Now you're actually working and it's fine. You took that hour. But if you are now sitting there for an hour and then you realize you're being lazy and then you just talk yourself into procrastinating for another hour, now it's the only person whose fault it is you, because you're making excuses. So you need to really get to know yourself and understand when you're being lazy and have this mindset in your head where you don't talk yourself out of things. You say to yourself, I'm going to try. I'm just going to go ahead and try. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I might even just do it for half an hour. And then sometimes you might even set a timer for half an hour to do the thing, and then you'll do it for an hour. You might even get into it. So stop being lazy. Stop making excuses for yourself. It sounds very easy. It sounds very obvious. But a lot of the time, we don't even understand when we're being lazy. We can't really tell the difference between being lazy because we're so used to procrastinating and making excuses for ourselves. But once you really distinguish the fact that there's a lot of times when I just really am making excuses for myself, you'll become a lot more of a productive person, because now you are not falling back on this mindset of excuses and allowing it. You are now stepping into this mindset of, okay, I'm self-aware. What am I going to do about this, and how am I going to take the right steps? Because a lot of the time you think you're doing right for yourself by doing nothing, but you actually make yourself feel worse. But when you actually get up and say, okay, I'm being lazy, and then you go and do it, and then you actually afterwards you're like, wow, like I actually could do it. I underestimated myself. So when you actually break it down, the more consistent you are with your goals, the more confident you are. Because now you're like, oh, I could do this. I'm consistent. You start to get confidence. Now, what is confidence? Confidence is a good feeling. Everyone wants to feel confident. Everyone wants to feel a good feeling. And when you have a good thing, you want more of it. So you'll realize that it's no longer a task. It's no longer a chore to be a productive person. It's no longer a thing in your head where you're like, oh, I really have to do that. That's so long. You're actually going to start to be like, I love the feeling that I get when I know that I've been productive. And you will no longer be a lazy person, because now you see it as something that builds you up rather than tears you down, that drains you, that takes all this energy, that you look at it in such a negative way. But if you change your mindset towards it and you look at it as something that's actually, it's going to do wonders for you. Wonders for you. It's going to make you feel amazing. It's going to make you feel like a new person. This is the day where you are going to decide that I'm not a lazy person, and you're going to take on board these tips, because I want you to become more like this. Because being like this has changed me. I'm so much more of a free person now. I have so much more self-belief. I believe in myself, and you know what this has done for my confidence? This has changed me as a person, not only in how productive I am, but in how confident I am. Because when you start to be a more productive person, you become more confident. Ultimately, you become more confident. You believe in yourself. When someone else says you can't do something, you're like, I can do that. I can do that. Someone might say, oh, you can't come on here and make YouTube videos. Who do you think you are? I'm a productive person who makes YouTube videos. What do you mean? I appreciate anyone who watches this video. This is a new channel. It's a hidden gem. But yeah, just because it's a hidden gem doesn't mean that I'm not speaking facts. So subscribe to this channel. Follow me on TikTok. Yeah, I have some meditations up if you want to change your mindset towards how you see yourself. Anyway, thank you so much. This is Waves Unleashed, and I've just unleashed some waves on you.